Hello, this is Angelus, your mindset business coach and trainer. And today I want to talk about something that the scientific community invented long ago, perhaps back in the Roman Empire times, the Greeks, scientists and researchers around Plato's time. They invented this technique to watch, observe something, do their experiments, create thesis on it, on the observations, create a theory from that, and prove a fact in nature. They were the first to invent this, but to this day, they technically still use this technique, or they're taught this technique. But this technique has been basically forgotten by the scientists and researchers who are currently working to create the next revolutionary item, service, product, and get it to market. The business section, or should I say the business sector, has taken up this method and is changing companies, both small and grand, to their standards, their methods, their systematizations, their success, basically. They're getting to a new level of success that they could not get to before by adopting this technique that the scientific community invented long ago. Now, before I continue, I want to digress a little bit. For those of you who don't know, I have a small confession. I have a background in the sciences, an engineering background. Got it from Devine Institute of Technology. I also went to college for biochemistry. So my first company, that I was hired for was a research company, substrate manufacturers, state of the art at the time. And I got to really understand how the scientific community is used to create a product and get it to market through the business side. So my gift out of this, in 30 years of doing this, working with companies and entrepreneurs, is that I can take a scientific process and wrap it up in a business tag, or in a business vernacular. And by doing so, sell it, create it, mass produce it, talk about it, educate people, train people about it in the business field, who would normally be turned off by it because it's a scientific process. And they're not scientists, they're business owners or business executives. So my gift is I take something that the average person cannot really or would not be interested in, but it's important, like a scientific process, and then adapt it and assimilate it into business practices and create the same success that the scientists have, but in the business sector. That is my gift. Now, what is this process that the scientists have invented long ago and utilize it today? Supposedly, most of them don't, believe it or not. Like I said earlier, they've given up on it, and the business sector has picked it up by people like myself teaching the masses how to use these techniques. What is the technique, Angelus? It is the process of the scientific method. You've heard of it before. The scientific method is not new. Perhaps you heard about it in elementary school, at least in high school. If you've gone to college and you had to take any elective or you study any science, you probably heard it there first time. But what is the scientific method then? Okay, quick review. Scientific method is basically self-talk. It's a self-analyzing technique that all research scientists use. If you're going after or attempting to improve a thing, a product, a service, or you're going after something you don't even know exists, so you're going to experiment. This process of the scientific method is the first way that scientists use to get to that next level, because you got to start from something. You can't just start from nothing, even though you have nothing to begin with. The scientific method is the first grand step, so to speak. So the scientific method is used quite simply. It basically says that you should question, you, the researcher, the scientist, should question yourself and ask the question to the universe. And the universe always answers. Even though they couldn't scientifically understand how it works, they knew it worked. It's like electricity. You don't have to understand electricity. Nobody knows what electricity really is, even today. Some will boast that they do, but they don't. But we don't need to understand what electricity is to utilize it every day. Well, the same thing in the scientific method. The first part of the scientific method is asking yourself, asking the universe, is this all there is? Okay. First process, is this all there is? And it goes from the premise of you've tried plus and you tried minus, you tried zero and you tried one, tried up and down. Okay. And nothing seems to work. You tried every method in between from alpha to omega, and nothing seems to work. So everything you consciously are attempting to do your experiment, to discover a new thing or to validate and prove an old idea, you're going from the premise of you've done your research, you've done your homework, you've done everything you can mentally do, and you come to the conclusion that you're not getting any answers. So you ask the question. The scientific method says ask the question. And when these scientists do ask the question, it does come to them. It's like osmosis, it's like magic, whatever, to the quantum field. It just comes in from the ether, from the Akashic records, or rose by any other name. So then they go by that information. Nikola Tesla was very popular in doing such things. And there was Edgar Cayce, known as the sleeping prophet in the 20th century, also used the same techniques. They asked the question, and the question just came to their mind. They didn't think of it up. But then they utilized what they already knew, and they took that information and ran with it and created all new products and services. So it got us to the modern age that we're in today because of just the scientific method. Unfortunately, not many scientists use the scientific method. And many business owners are starting to, I'd say started to a few years back, but in the short years, major success have been accomplished. So the rest of the scientific method, why are some scientists not using it if it's such a popular, such an important tool to be used? Because the scientific method requires you to get out of your ego. It does something that's very difficult for a lot of human beings to do. It doesn't matter if they're in the scientific community or the business community. The process dictates that you, okay, let's go back to that example. I've tried everything I can from A to Z. I can't figure it out. So you have to ask the next question, most important question. You ask yourself, you ask the universe, what if I'm wrong? Ooh, a lot of egos can't accept that. It doesn't matter if you're a scientist. It doesn't matter if you're a CEO of a company or you own your own business. It doesn't matter. A lot of people have trouble with the getting out of themselves, getting out of their ego, getting out of their beliefs that they could be wrong. It's possible they could be wrong. In fact, failure is the greatest invention for all scientists. Failure is the only way to success for all businessmen and women. So it's accepting the possibility that you have failed in your attempts. So you ask, what if I am wrong? So the first question is, where is the answer? Where can I go to find the answer? But even if the answer is thrown right in front of you and your ego won't accept it, it doesn't matter. For those people who don't mind, and they'll take the information as it comes, like I said with Nikola Tesla and Edgar Cayce, these people, these individuals, they got past the ego and the information and went straight to work. But if you're still having trouble, it's probably because you're in your mind. It's a mindset. And the mindset is using the ego to keep control over it. So you ask the question, I've tried everything. Is there a possibility if I'm wrong? Now, once you got to that point and accept the possibility that you're wrong, it's not just an answer you're waiting for. You have to actually ask yourself, are you sure you've done everything? You are so smart that you know everything that in God's creation. No, that's not true. That's impossible. So it's not only possible, it's a fact that you don't know everything, whatever you're researching. So now, once you got past your ego, okay, the first step, remember, is asking the universe to help you find the answer. For those people who have passed the second question, then you ask the third question. Then if I'm wrong, what is the third alternative? There's always a third alternative. There's always a fourth alternative. There's always a fifth, sixth, and so on. It's an infinite amount of alternative because the quantum field, the quantum universe, as science has shown us, is an infinite amount of possibilities. So you do not know everything, and you are definitely wrong if you tried everything and you just haven't found the answer. And now you're asking specifically, what is the answer for your specific problem? Be it scientific, be it manufacturing, be it sales, be it market, be it branding, whatever part of your business. What is the third alternative? If you ask yourself earnestly, without the mindset of needing to be right, you will hear an answer. The universe always answers. It's just the way the universe works. It's the way the quantum field works. It's the way manifestation works. So the scientific method is one of the greatest inventions created thousands of years ago by scientists. But today, I mentioned earlier, why are business owners taking the mantle, taking the ball of the scientific method and applying it to the business and getting massive success? And the scientists are kind of rejecting it or not using it. And this is just a simple thing of economics. Scientists, and I know this when I got out of college, go into a business, go into a job. It doesn't matter if it's manufacturing or it's selling of services or goods. Your job as a scientist is to find ways to improve an existing product or service and create a whole new one to get it to market as soon as possible. And usually 99 times out of 100, the problem is presented to you and they already are giving you as a business, you're working as a scientist in a company, they're already giving you the end result. They're telling you what they want, what they expect. So there's no deviation from that. You're in a company, you're an engineer, and you're told to improve a radio. You're only working on improving that radio. You're not caring about the scientific method, about creating something new and improved. You're not worried about using the scientific method to discover a new type of radio that's far superior to this. That's not what you're being hired for. You're hired for simply improving the existing products and services that they are giving you. And they're giving you a timetable to do this. So most scientists just work with what they got, tinker with what they got, and make the improvements and upgrades without much going into the scientific method. Even though it could be used, most scientists have just kind of forgotten that. It's now become a business for the scientists. And it's all about economics, about supplies and demand. And so the scientists, not all, I'm just talking to many, and scientists who are on the manufacturing side of the business, trying to get new products out there, new services out there, like car dealership. The scientist working on the car is not worrying about the scientific method. But the business owner or the people that are looking to sell more cars, they are using the scientific method in ways it was in its purest sense of the term. So if you own a business, if you are part of a big existing company, if you really want to improve your game, if you really want to get to that next level of success past that glass ceiling that's stopping you, if you're a solopreneur entrepreneur that wishes to take new horizons and be a trailblazer and make new paths and standards for others to follow, I highly recommend, and I've used this, I've taken the scientific method, I've applied it to every aspect of business you can imagine. When the business owners or the managers or CEOs or presidents of the companies or directors have utilized the scientific method, they've seen great, massive success. So next time, and I'm going to repeat them again, next time, it doesn't have to be just business, it doesn't have to be science. Maybe you have social issues. Maybe you're working on a hobby and you're getting stuck. Maybe you're working for the community through a church or a club or non-for-profit. Whatever you're doing, you wish to greatly improve your chances of being successful in that project or in that search, use the scientific method. Ask the universe, ask yourself, first, what is the answer? Tell me what the answer is. And if that doesn't work, try assuming the possibility that you might be wrong, and then ask, if I am wrong, then what is the answer? And wait for it to come. It'll come. Now, I've talked to people in the past who said, that sounds very complicated, even though it's the simplest thing in the world. What they're referring to is, yes, it's very simple, but you have a problem hearing the information from the universe because you have a filter, you have a mindset. And that's what I'm all about. If you have a mindset issue, you have a mindset problem, if you're having trouble doing this simple technique, after the video, in the field below, please Text me specifically what it is that you're having trouble with, because I know it's a mindset issue and it's a focus issue. I will then get back to you as soon as I can and give you some simple tips, directions to go to help you find the answers for your issues and problems. With that, I want to thank you for seeing me at this video today. This is Angelos, your mindset business coach and trainer, wishing you a great day, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Take care.